everyone. Okay. So we are on Friday, January 2nd, and Reinhard did not disappoint today because we finally get some loose ends tied up. So yay! But the result of the loose ends being tied up might be sad. So um, forewarning you here. Okay. So seems to be a common theme here today. There were two people, two different scenes in hotel rooms, so that was interesting. Um, okay, Daniel and Tessa finally slept together, and so you know how everybody, I guess, most people have the moment where you're worried if the other person has been thinking about it and is going to change their mind. So, um, apparently they were both thinking about getting coffee at the same time. And Tessa says she wants to be alone because she wants to talk. And then Daniel thinks the worst. And they do have a discussion, and he's all ready to give up on everything. And because he's all, well, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that I'm sorry, but I can't do this because now that you've had time to think about it, you regret it, and we should not have done it, and yada yada. And she's like, Daniel. And she has to scream kind of to get him out of his own head. And then she says, I wanted privacy. And then she kisses him. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, and I'll talk about more of it later, but I'm trying to go in order here. Okay. Meanwhile, on the other side, we actually see Cameron Grimes. Woohoo! Yay! Although, boo, because, they're not going to be married anymore. But I kind of saw that one coming after Mariah kind of gave up on the whole thing. And so, yeah. Okay. So we see Cameron Grimes, and she's with, apparently, this is one of the scenes that Tristan Rogers filmed before he passed away. Because we see them interacting together, and, okay, now, to get the full extent of the scene, you have to understand the reason he's there, the character, is because Mariah has some unresolved something in her head. And once she gets rid of that, he'll go away. Okay. Um, so they're talking back and forth, and she said, I didn't want, she's looking at a picture of her and Tessa and Aria. And she says, I didn't want to give up. But I was trying to do the best thing for them, but she's crying, like visibly crying, and it's like, oh man, I felt bad for her because she wants to be with her wife and kid, but she doesn't think she has unresolved whatever, so she can't be with her until she resolves it. Problem is, Tess has already moved on. Okay, now the other storyline we have going on is the Sienna and Matt and Noah and all the rest of them, because um okay, so where we left off the other day before the holidays was he was on a tear to find her and unalive her. And remember, I told you he has the other chick, the brunette, and he says, whatever it takes, just get rid of her. And you know what that means, okay? So yeah. Um. So they don't really unalive her yet. They just kind of knock her out, and then somehow they end up in the hotel room, and they wake her up, and to do a ransom because they want money for her giving her back, right? Okay. So meanwhile, Noah is trying to convince his mother that they can trust Sienna because um, I guess Sharon, the character, was trying to be a good mom and was very suspicious, cautious of Sienna from the word go. And I thought it was because she was being the kind of mom that nobody is going to be good enough for her son, which I talked about before. But I think it's because they all think that Noah doesn't know Sienna long enough to trust her. So, yeah. Okay. Which is kind of funny because I didn't think about it like that. But when they said it, it made sense. But I feel bad for Noah because everybody is ganging up on him and saying, "Well, can you really trust her? I don't know. I don't know." Everybody, and then Adam, which is really funny because if you know the backstory about Adam at all, it's funny because he is the most devious kind of person on the show, and he's talking about, well, uh, you might have been um, what did he say? You might have been taken advantage of because they might have used her as the bait, and you just fell for it. And then Noah's like, "Come on, man." And then he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just saying." Okay. Okay, so and then of course they don't really find him or her yet. And they have to have a thing to hold over, kind of. But they're gonna find her and whatever. Okay, so here's how I think it's gonna go. Although I'm not really entirely 100% sure, but this is how I think it's gonna go. Okay, so they're gonna pay the ransom and they're gonna let go of her, but then somehow they're gonna unalive Matt because if he doesn't terrorize them, the family, then he's got nowhere to go. And once he stops doing it, or once they stop him, they got nowhere to go with the character. I'm telling you, they got nowhere. Um. So yeah. Okay. And then of course they talk about the future, coming up with the future. So apparently, this whole situation that we just talked about today is going to have an impact on what goes on in the future of the the war, quote unquote war, between the Abbotts and the Newmans, because Kyle is going to somehow use the whole thing with Matt Clark as a bargaining chip somehow, and that was part of the spoilers for next week. But like I always say, they gave a snippet, so I don't know the whole conversation. I don't know when it's gonna happen. The usual things I always tell you, you know. So be prepared for that. So yep, that's what's gonna happen on that one. Plus, there's probably gonna be a lot more because you have to understand they have, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds to kind of promote what's gonna happen next week. There's no way they can show everything they're gonna show. So you kind of that's why you gotta watch. All right, bye everybody.